Abandonment. Only those who have experienced it can understand its darkness and emptiness. It's a deep wound carried by the sufferer. So humans, please don't abandon the sick kids. Act from your heart. Heal. Love the terminally ill kids. Abandoned terminally ill kids are small kids fighting big battles during their last precious moments. They pass away with a feeling of comfort that they are not alone. They have family who cared for them, who loved them. Yes, this is what happens in the Village of Hope at Guatemala. We bow down before this champion of humanity. These abandoned, terminally ill kids fighting the lone battle for whom death is at their threshold are born in completely hopeless situations. But they may die after being loved in the Village of Hope, Guatemala. Meet this noble soul. Is she an angel? She says, "No, I'm neither an angel nor a hero. What I'm doing is what all of us are supposed to do as human beings." Is she less than an angel? She was 16 years old when her family moved to Guatemala. Until then, she was living the American dream. But that move caused a radical 360 when she began to really see the world with a new perspective. Her life was different from most American teenagers. She was not learning how to drive. Or was she playing volleyball? Or was going to the prom? Or was hanging out with friends? Instead, she was engaged in roasting marshmallows on active volcanoes, watching surgeries in the local hospitals, holding the hands of 11-year-old girls as they gave birth, translating paperwork, standing up against abusers in court, and bringing home abandoned babies. Before moving to Guatemala, her parents adopted 5 children. They saw the damage institutional living could do to them. They wanted them to grow in a family. So her family founded the Village of Hope in Guatemala, a family-style children's home for children with special needs and adolescent mothers as well. They currently care for 55 children belonging to various age groups in their orphan care village. They hired 54 Guatemalan staff, providing jobs and thereby preventing more children from becoming orphans. As a missionary kid, sometimes she found it hard to find her place there. She didn't fit in as a Guatemalan, but she didn't fit in as an American either. She was stuck between the two until she found her calling. "There's a 10-day-old baby girl," he said to them. "She has a disease." "I'll take her," she told him without hesitation. And a few hours later, a social worker was at their door holding a bundle wrapped in an orange blanket. She explained that the baby girl had been abandoned due to her diagnosis. She'd been left with nothing, not even a name, and she wasn't expected to live long. She soon learned that this baby girl had a disease called hydranencephaly. In other words, she only had about 3% of her brain. Days passed filled with MRIs and hospital visits, until one day she stood before the judge in the courthouse, asking if she could adopt her and give her a name. Her family didn't want her, the judge told her solemnly. She's probably not going to live, and even if she does, she'll not have a normal life. So why do you want to bother? Why do you care so much? She looked right into the eyes of the judge and told her that she cared because her life matters, and that the value of life isn't decided by the number of days one lives. She named her Emma Lee. Emma means whole and complete. Yes, they were praying for her brain. And Lee is her and her mom's middle name, and the name that she'd always wanted to pass on to her first daughter. On April 16th, 2015, Emma Lee passed from her arms into the arms of Jesus. When she took care of Emma Lee, she learned that it's not the case with every child. Most children like Emma Lee are left to die all alone. It's not fair. One should not pretend that kids like Emma Lee didn't exist. Thus, the vision of Into His Arms was born, a place for kids who are diagnosed as terminally ill to stay and be loved until the end embraces them. All through her mission, she had Ronald by her side. He drove her to most of the medical appointments, and he was the one who was standing by her side during the funerals. She just considered him as a good friend, She thought, which man would want to marry a girl who takes care of dying babies? But Ronald knew, since day one, when she interviewed him for a job at Village of Hope, he knew that she was the woman he would one day marry. It took some time for her to decide. On careful observation, she found that Ronald cared for these kids as much as she did before she let her guard down and fell in love. They got married on April 22nd, 2017, in the ruins of Antigua, Guatemala. 18 ring bearers and 37 flower girls graced their wedding because every child at the Village of Hope wanted to be a part of that grand event. Just a few months after their dream wedding, she was explaining to the judge about their service to children who were diagnosed with incompatibility with life. He stood up quickly and went to his office. She waited. He returned back and gave her a file. "There's this little girl," he explained. "For over a year now, we've been calling places, but no one will take her." She scanned through the file, reading the medical diagnoses, which she didn't understand. And then she came across the list of places that had been contacted, and their reasons for saying no. "We don't have enough staff," some listed. "We don't take kids with special needs," was the reply of others. "Not those. Special needs, please." "We don't have space." "We're not equipped." When she read the list, she realized that all those excuses could be applied to her Village of Hope as well. But the most important fact was that there was an innocent baby girl in need of a home. And so, despite every excuse to say no, her answer was yes. And Zaley Grace was placed into his arms. Just a few months later, there was a surprise awaiting for them. At 3 a.m., police sirens were heard and flashlights were seen. They hopped out of bed to find a police officer holding a baby boy. The police were contacted by the local hospital about a newborn who had been left there. They were transporting prisoners, so they decided that this baby boy could ride along to the place they had heard would take kids like him. They invited both the police and the prisoners in for a warm meal before they continued with their journey. They welcomed Ezra Justice into their home, totally unaware of the plan designed by destiny. Soon, Ronald and his soulmate were blessed with a baby. They brought their little one to wake up into this world. Since 2015, they've continued to foster children with different special needs. Some of these children understand that they're being loved and they are made to spend the little time they have left on this earth with comfort. Others get healed and grow, but most of them don't stay forever. Some kids in the Village of Hope have rare brain defects. Some of them are blind. Some of them are deaf. Some get daily seizures. The arms and legs of some of the kids are paralyzed. She knew they cannot hear. She knew they cannot see. But she talked to them. She played with them because they have feelings. They're human beings. They have souls. So she loved them, cared for them, talked to them, played with them, and made them feel happy. She considers herself to be lucky because she got the chance to walk with them during their most difficult and vulnerable time of their lives. It's not easy opening up the heart to children over and over again, knowing the pain she will have to experience when she lets them go into the arms of Jesus. But with Ezra and Zaley, she found herself to be lucky because she could love them forever. On June 3rd, 2020, they became a forever family of 5. Ezra Justice is 2 years old now and still has multiple surgeries ahead of him, but he's a warrior. He's strong and caring and makes them laugh all day long. Zaley Grace is a princess. Her list of diagnoses is still strong, and her life expectancy is short, but she lives each day with joy and spunk. Atlas Jude is the sweetest baby brother. He loves his siblings, and they love him too. So the family of 5 has inner peace, faith in the Almighty, clarity of life, and above all, ecstatic joy. Obviously, since they belong to the Village of Hope. Sometimes, superheroes reside in the hearts of small children fighting big battles. Don't you think so? Please like, comment, and share. Join us and change lives. Pleased to have you around. Blessed we are to get connected with you.